bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidyushavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Cheshtarajim Brahmanam Brahmanaspadana Shrinvanodibi Sita Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspadihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ridham Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tattvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dondvadhitam Kakana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavadhitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami Bhavadhitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami Om Vamshi Vibhushitakarat Navaniradaabhat Pidambarat Arunabimba Bhaladharoshtat Purnentu Sundaramukhat Aravinda Netrat Krishnat Param Kimabi Tattvamaham na jane Krishnat Param Kimabi Tattvamaham na jane. We read this invocation song. Vasudevendra Yogendram Nattva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumuchunam Hidarthaya Tattvabodho Bidhiyate. Now we will read one first sentence. Sadhana chadushtaya sambannadhikarinam. The first sentence. Moksha sadhana bodham tattva viveka prakaram vachyamaha. Now we come to where we stopped yesterday. In your book it must be the seventh item. Adha chadurvimshadi. Can you? Tattvabodha prakaram vachyamaha brahmashraya satvarajastamo gunatmika maya asti. But before I go into the text, let me share with you some thoughts. Yesterday Jennifer asked me, are you realized? I thought it was a very difficult question. If I say I am realized, that will create problem. If I say I am not realized, then also it's a problem. I felt it is something like asking a woman playing with a baby, 3-year-old baby, asking her, are you married? It's obvious, because she is playing with the baby. This is a baby. Without marriage she cannot have a baby, unless you are in America. So it's obvious. That question does not have any relevance there. Or a person who is sleeping in deep sleep, you are asking him, are you sleeping? If he answers, I am sleeping, what does it mean? He is not sleeping. If he doesn't answer, then there is no answer, so you may surmise he is not sleeping. So it's a very tricky question. This question I encountered in many fora. Are you realized? Generally we keep quiet. So that provoked a dialogue in my mind. I will read that dialogue which I wrote this morning. The dialogue goes like this. Swami, are you realized? Swami says, no. In the first place, I is not there. In the first place, the I is not there. Then, question, then who are you? Then the answer is, I am you. That's the answer. I am you. You are me, but I am not realized. Then Swami, nor am I. Question, then who are you? Again the question comes. A silence, a thundering silence. And you could hear a whisper, I am who I am. Yea, way. With that the dialogue is over. So you can only answer that question in this manner. You have to use paradoxes. You can neither say I am realized, nor can I say I am not realized, because I am neither realized nor not realized. These are concepts which we play with. So if you are not realized, then we introduce this concept. You realize. Then when you actually understand what it is all about, you are beyond realization or non-realization. That's the state of total silence. And in that silence, there is nothing to say. You just keep. But that silence is very thundering. It announces itself, whatever it is. So I read the dialogue once more. Swami, are you realized? No. In the first place, the I is not there. If I is there, then there is a realization possible. Then who are you? I am you. Swami's answer. You are me? You are surprised. How can the Swami be? How can you be me? You are me. And my problem is I am not realized. That means you also are not realized. Therefore, one more question. What are you? Silence. There is no answer to that question. And the silence thundered. I am who I am. Yea, way. With that it's over, the dialogue is over. I thought I will share with you this simple thought so that you won't ask anymore anybody. Are you realized? So you will get these kind of stuck answers. It cannot. It's like a computer getting stuck. If you ask these kind of questions, the computer just gets stuck. It simply gives up. Then you have to reboot it. It's a big problem. So therefore, if you ask this question, there is no answers at all. Both ways, it will not be a good answer. Okay, having said this, now let us go back to our yesterday's topic. The question was, who am I? That was the question. And that's what you ask in meditation. You want to know that ground where there is no change. Because of changing experiences, and you get caught up in all these changes, you get confused, go mad. So sometime you sit down in your life and ask, who am I? Am I this? Am I that? Am I a father? I am a mother? I am a sister, brother, politician, accountant? Who am I? Because I seem to be playing many roles, and these roles sometimes are makes contradictory demands on me. The question is, who am I fundamentally, basically? And that is the genesis, beginning of meditation. And that question cannot be answered by an analytical process. It can be only answered by a meditative, introspective process. There is no way of finding an analytical answer to that question. So it was said that you are beyond the sthula, sukshma, karana, sharira, the gross, subtle and the causal bodies. And we already understood what is the gross body, subtle body, causal body. Causal, the subtle and the gross bodies are in the realm of karma, duality, causation, and its constant flux and change. And you are beyond. You are the great grand witness who shed light upon all these processes. Then it was said, I am beyond the panchakoshas, annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya koshas. Beyond it is my true identity, Anandam. That's my true identity, pure bliss. And the rest are all my costumes, different layers of costumes. I am the Ananda Swarupa, pure bliss. Then another way of looking at me is, and the witness, Sakshi, witnessing these three experiences on the three theatres of life, the Jagrat, the waking state. I witness all the experiences. And the Jagrat state, there is a waker and his waking experience. Both are witnessed by the self. That's very interesting. In the waking state, you are the waker, you play the role of the waker, and you experience the waking world. And inside you are watching still that I am a waker experiencing the waking world. Like when you play in the movie or the drama, you inside you say, oh, I am playing this role. For example, an actor plays the role of a beggar, let us say, a porter, or a waiter in a restaurant, a porter. So he is carrying this weight or he is carrying this tray. It is only a play. And while he is playing that role very dexterously, he also knows inside, I am not this waiter, I am not this porter. By playing the role of a porter, your bank balance goes up by $1 million. You are not this poor porter. That understanding is there at the back of your mind. So similarly, in the waking world, you as a waker playing that role, fit for that particular world of consciousness, you enjoy the waking experiences. Then you drop that world along with that costume that which made you a waker, and you move into the dream world, sleep world, deep sleep. In deep sleep, you are the sleeper as well as the sleeping experience. There is hardly any experience in sleep, except that I slept well. Then you are a sleeper. Then when you become a dreamer, you drop that too, and you play the role of a dreamer. So in the waker, maybe you are a rich man in the waking world, but in the dream world, you become a poor man. That also is possible. When President Bush dreams, you must be thinking Cheney is the vice president. Cheney has debunked him or threw him out. It is possible to such dreams, because there is always an undercurrent or rivalry, and you feel that I have been deposed or overthrown by my deputy. Those kind of dreams are possible. So the dream world you become one personality, waking world you become another personality, and sleep your personality is completely subdued. But you are really beyond all this. You are neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the sleeper. Because when the waker comes, the dreamer goes, dreamer comes, sleeper goes, sleeper comes, both the waker and the dreamer goes. But in and through underlying all this is your pure consciousness. So from this we get an idea about our beyondness. We are beyond even the unconscious, beyond even the collective unconscious. There is a land of peace and bliss. That is the land we are in search of. That is our true ground. You know, these ideas must be firmly set in your mind. Then alone the inquiry is possible. So there is a land, there is a field or ground which is beyond all. So, and hence the definition, Sthula Sushma Karna Sharirad Vyadirikta Panchakosha Adida Havastatraya Sakshi, and then Satchidananda Swarupa. So what exactly is that? Is sought to be explained in terms of these three words: Sada, Chida, Anandam. It is existence, eternal existence, immortality, and Chida, consciousness, light, and that is bliss. It is bliss because there is no time or space. You are not conditioned by spatio-temporal limitations there. We are not happy because we are confined. Isn't it? In a confined room, you will be very unhappy. If I ask you to sit in this room for the next 3 years, it will be a very unhappy thing for you. So we experience the confined space and time. But in that state, you don't experience time space. Then staying in time space is not experienced. And hence it is pure bliss. Time is torture. Experience of time is experience of torture. If you don't experience time, then there is bliss. So from this, the Rishi come to this insight. In bliss there is no time. Since there is no time in consciousness, consciousness is not in time. Time is in consciousness. As they say, you dream of a car so that you can dream in the car later. Now you dream of a car. And later you will work for it, get a car, then you can sit in the car, and then you can dream. So your dream car become a facility for you later to dream. So you can be above and beyond these dreams. So that is Satchidananda Swarupa. So when you constantly repeat this word, Sataham, Chitaham, Anandoham, Anandoham, then that gives you an experience of that, because by word you can get that experience. That is the discovery of the Rishi. Another insight. You simply say, I am happy. I am happiness. Not even I am happy. Because if you say I am happy, happiness becomes kind of an adjective to you, a qualification. No, I am happiness. Keep on saying that. But by saying it, will I be happy? By saying you will not be happy. But by saying you will remember that your nature is happiness. By simply saying I am happy, you will not become happy. But by saying, you can get that memory back, that understanding. What is that? My nature is happiness. Otherwise it becomes a brainwashing. Keep on saying I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, then you are compelled to be happy. It's not a compulsion. It is not something which is created or conditioned. In fact, we are removing all the conditioning so that you can capture your natural happiness. And that is possible right now, because you are already, deep down, you are already a happy person. So Satchidananda Sarupa. Then we have seen all the processes. How do we reach that state? What is the Stula Sharira, Sushma Sharira, Karana Sharira, what is Avastatraya, also we have seen. And then in Sushma Sharira we have seen 17 parts, 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception, 5 physiological functions, mind, intellect, and we have seen all their functions. What do these 5 sense organs do? 5 organs of action do, what the mind and intellect do, and who are their devadas, meaning what are the conditions necessary for their functioning, and what is their objects, what do they contact, all those things were. Your whole, the mapping of the Antakarana, like a mapping of the genome program, we have already mapped out what are the various processes, objects, functions, organs, etc. This way you expand your awareness. This is the way to expand my awareness. So my eyes and the sun, there is a connection. My skin and the air, atmospheric air, there is a connection. Or my tongue and all the water in the world, there is a connection. My nose and the fragrance, there is a connection. And so all these connections are understood, established. So the mind expands further. So instead of sitting in a small room and worrying about your fate, that is what we do all the time. Close all the doors and worry about our face. You are at least mentally going out and establishing your connectivity with the entire world. So that's the connection between the Pindanda, the microcosm, and the Brahmanda, the macrocosm. You bring that threads of connectivity. You stitch up your inner self with the entire cosmos. Then the mind experiences an elation, happiness. So through this process we have reached the ground level. And my awareness, which is unconditioned by time space, is one with your awareness, which also is unconditioned by time space. Isn't it? So that's what they say, Mamatma, myself, Sarvabhudatma, the self everywhere. Myself is the self everywhere. And that is the reason why we should love everybody, or why we feel a natural empathy for everything. Because myself is the self everywhere. And that's why Christ said, love thy neighbor as much as you love yourself. Because your neighbor and thyself essentially are one self. Whether you call it myself, himself, herself, itself, all these have some common self, and that is the consciousness. So according to Vedanta, it is this consciousness which is the raw material for the world. Can you imagine it? The consciousness with which you see the world, thoughts, mind, is the raw material, the substance with which the whole universe is created. So the consciousness first, how does that process happen? They say it becomes a thought arises, a cosmic thought arises. In the Upanishad it said, so kamayata, he thought. The scientists are finding very difficult to explain how the Big Bang occurred. Suddenly an explosion. For an explosion there should be a cause. It cannot just arbitrarily explode. The scientists say the explosion we cannot explain. The rest of the things we can explain. Explosion is a secret hidden deep in the mind of God. After the explosion, what happened? The energy, the light, traveling, sound, etc., etc., I can explain. But we want to know the explosion, the cause of the explosion. So the Upanishadic explanation is a self-created thought arose. That is the explanation. Because that reality, the ground reality being a conscious entity. Consciousness means it can generate things. Consciousness means deep layers of energy is hidden. So a thought arose, so kamayada. And when the thought arose, it became a creative thought. That's called maya. So brahmashraya maya asti. You need a lot of imagination. Because science has become just a pure imagination, I tell you now. Simple imagination. How did the creation start? Scientists are imagining. What's happening there, here? All imagination now. Because your technological instrument won't reach those levels. So here we need a lot of imagination. And through imagination you can soar, lift yourself into those levels. And your ordinary problems simply disappear. You have a headache, a knee pain, everything goes. Or while you are coming to the class, somebody told you some nasty words, all those things you forget. Because you are soaring yourself in terms of imagination. So in that great consciousness, there was a thought. The thought was, let me become many. Let me see myself, my own powers. That was the thought. Let me see my hidden powers. So that's what here says, Brahma Ashraya Maya Asti. Brahma is that substratum consciousness. In that a thought wave arises, and that thought is the need to know its own power. And that is called Maya. And that thought has got three attributes. They are called Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva means the power of knowing, the knowing power. K-N-O-W-I-N-G, the power of knowing. And the Rajas is the power of activity, motion. And Tamas is the power of inertia. So Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Principle of inertia, principle of activity and principle of knowledge arose in that thought. It's something like your modern theory of atom. Atom is made up of proton, neutron and electron. Proton is positive charge with a mass. Neutron is a neutral charge with a mass, of course. And electron is a negative charge. I hope my physics is correct. Electron is with a negative charge. So Sattva can be equated to the proton with a positive charge. Tamas can be equated to a neutron with a neutral charge, but with a mass. That's why it has no charge, isn't it? Tamas is sitting like a piece of stone, no charge, but with a mass, an extension, etc. But electron is constantly moving around with a negative charge, all reactions. That's the negativity, very active, but all are reactions. So at the end of the day, you are utterly exhausted. If you are positively active, you will never be tired. That is the difference between a reaction and an action. In reactive people get very tired. I am exhausted, I am finished. Active people, they are never tired. They can go on and on and on. Others get tired. They never get tired. That is the definition of or difference between action and reaction. So this negative charge of electron, which is the rajas. So your sattva, rajas and tamas. These are the basic ingredients with which the whole creation is made. So that's why Brahmashraya Sattva-rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. Brahman with the desire to create. That desire is a divine desire, not like our desire. Our desire is out of our emptiness. I need this, I need that. Brahman's desire out of his fullness. That difference is to be understood. Otherwise people may ask, why did Brahman desire? Was he empty? Was he unhappy? No. He is so happy. Out of that happiness, desire arises. What kind of desire? To share, to express. When you are happy, you want to express and share. When you are unhappy also, you desire but to grab and indulge. The other is to give and to share. And the more you give, the more you discover yourself. That's a Brahman's project. We call it the Brahman project or the Atman project. What is the Atman or Brahman project? To discover your own potential, your own inner powers, you have to share and give. If you grab and keep, you don't discover your powers. That is the Brahman. The ours is ego project. What is the ego project? Grab more and keep it and then don't share it. And what you grab and keep, you lose. What you give and share, you gain. 1,000-fold, he says. If you give $1, you get $1,000. I am just giving a material example. That's not the idea. So he says, give and grow, keep and lose and perish. That's the law. So one is the ego project, ahankara. The other is the Brahman or Atman. There is a book called the Atman project. That's what comes to my mind. So this desire of Brahman, and out of that desire arise these three energies or powers, sattva, rajas and tamas. That's why Brahmashraya Maya Asti. Good story. Don't ask me how do you know all this. It's all written here. That's all I know. Some rishi in his seat of meditation figured it all out. That is all what I can. And it's very interesting also. It's very interesting to go through this narrative and very fulfilling. So Brahmashraya Sattva-rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. At this stage of creative excitement, I should say, Brahman is called Ishvara or God. Ishvara or God, meaning that infinite consciousness and entertaining this desire to create. At that stage we call him God or the creator, God. And not only that he creates, he sustains and he destroys his creation also. That's the beauty of creative people. They create, they nourish it to a certain level of perfection, then they forget about it. They destroy it. They don't dwell on that. Unlike you and I write a miserable poem, print it and then put it in a frame and then distribute to everybody free. No, that's not done by Brahman. He creates, he nourishes to a certain level, then he destroys it. Because he is the only connoisseur of his work. There is nobody else to see it. So he creates it, see who he is, discovers, then he destroys it. He wipes it off. Then what will he do? More creation. Now like children using the slate. In India they use the slate. They write with a chalk piece, and then they wipe it off. Or in the sand, when we initiate the children into school, there is an initiation ceremony. So in that they take a sand and spread it and write in that, and then wipe it off. So similarly, Brahman engages in this play. It's called Leela. He creates, he sustains, and then wipes it off. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. And when Brahman engages as Ishvara, engages in the Srishti Kriya, the creative effort, he is called Brahma, the four-faced Brahman. The Brahman and Brahma is slightly different. Don't confuse with it. Brahma, the four-faced creator. And when he engaged in the act of protection or perfecting the creation, what he has created, in that phase he is called Vishnu. And when he is engaged in the wiping out process, which is very painful, because to wipe out what was created. You know that when you write a long letter, wonderful letter in the computer, and then suddenly you click the wrong button and it's all gone. You know the pain involved in it. So to wipe out what you have created is a very painful experience. So Shiva does that. That is why we worship Shiva. Because when the difficulty in wiping out what you have created is the difficulty of the ego. Ego finds it difficult. So you need Shiva to wipe out the ego. So Shiva is supposedly the presiding deity of ego. He can create it, he can destroy it also. Because ego is necessary to create, but ego will not destroy. So you need that too. So Ishvara, these three phases, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, or Shiva. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara is Shiva. Together he is called Ishvara. So Ishvara is Brahmashraya Maya, Brahman in its creative process. See all these complications. And all these are called Trimurtis. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara is called Trimurtis. Trimurtis are assisted by their consorts, spouses. So Brahma is assisted by Saraswati. Saraswati namastubhyam varade kamarupanim vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavadu me sada. Saraswati is a consorter. She is the custodian of knowledge. And then, so one aspect of Maya is knowledge. Saraswati in charge of that. Another aspect of Maya is Jnanam, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti, activity, which is a property of Rajas. And Brahma, so Brahman is consort is Saraswati, and Vishnu's consort is Lakshmi. Lakshmi is a principle of activity. She is always active. That's how she makes a lot of money. Simply sit and money will not come. So she is always active, makes a lot of money. Lakshmi is the custodian of wealth, all kind of wealth. Then you have Shiva, and Shiva's consort is Durga or Uma. Uma means that which is not. Oh, indeed, Ma, not. That's why it's Uma. Shiva uses Uma to wipe off things. So you have Uma, you have Lakshmi, you have Saraswati. You have Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And all these gods we have seen yesterday. All these are presiding deities. So now the creation starts. Brahma and Maya, Ishvara. Now how the creation? Creation in Vedantic theory is an emanation, modification. So this Brahma endowed with Maya, these three powers, modifies, emanates, appears. Many words are used for that. Modifies, emanates, appears. If you use the example of modification, it's like water modifying into waves. Water does not change, but it modifies. or it's an emanation, appearance, like a rope appearing as a snake. These two examples are used. So the Brahman emanates, manifests as the world. It's a manifestation without undergoing any intrinsic change. Like atoms, without undergoing any intrinsic change, become the table. Atoms remain the atom. So Brahman manifests as the world. And the first manifestation is Akasha, space. It manifests as space, and as it manifests as space, it exhibits a property. The property is called sound. The first manifestation is sound. That's why Om. Om is the first manifestation. Akasha. And from there, Akasha, the second manifestation is Vayu, air. And Vayu has a property called touch, pressure. So you have Vayu with two properties, sound and touch. And the third manifestation is as fire. And fire has got three properties, sound, touch and foam. And the fourth manifestation is as water. Water has got four properties, sound, touch, foam and taste. And fourth manifestation is as earth. Earth has got five properties, sound, touch, foam, taste and smell. So the emanations are over. In Jewish Kabbalah, you find these kind of expression. Jewish mystic tradition almost follows the same principles. So these five emanations, epiphanies of Brahman, manifestations of Brahman. Akasha, Vayu, that meaning space, air, fire, water and earth. And hence in India you find all these five elements are worshipped as manifestations of God. Earth is worshipped as manifestation of God. Fire is worshipped. Air is worshipped. Even space is worshipped. When you go to Chidambaram, one temple in Tamil Nadu, Chidambaram, Chidam means consciousness, Ambaram means space. Consciousness which has become space, that's being worshipped. So how do you worship space? What they do, they have a big circle. That's all. Big metal circle. What you see is only space that you worship. Or fire is worshipped. So these five manifestations of Brahman and their properties, they all manifested. And then from there they say came Oshadhi Vanaspadaya, herbs and plants. Herbs and plants. And from the herbs and plants come human beings. In your body, your mind, eating, because we have seen body is a modification of the food that you have eaten. Where do you get the food? Food is from plants and herbs. Eating the plants, you gain a body. Using the herb, you keep the body healthy. Herbs are necessary. Now you are here. So Ishvara is therefore the creator of the world is called in technically Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. I thought I will just spend some time on that. Abhinna Nimitta. I know you will not be able to read that these, but I'll explain it. Upadana Karanam. In English, this is non-separate material and efficient cause. That's the meaning of that phrase, abhinna nimitta upadana karanam, non-separate material and efficient cause. There is a lot of discussion about the creation in all literature, in all spiritual literature. The Jewish and the Christian and the Islamic people believe the creation is ex nihilo, meaning creation came from nothing. God created the world from nothing. Initially there was nothing. Then maybe he waved his hand and the world manifested. But the next question is that how did he wave this hand? So because for waving the hand you need some space. So that doesn't help us in knowing that. So ex nihilo, because to wave the hand you need some space. Hand means as an extension, a length, etc. So what the Vedantins believe, it is not ex nihilo, the creation. Creation is a emanation of Brahman. So Brahman is both the material for creation as well as the intelligence. Because any creation you need matter and knowledge. Isn't it? A potter making a pot, you need clay, matter, and you also need knowledge of creating the pot, otherwise he cannot. Suppose his head is as like the clay, then he will not make any pot. You need some knowledge. So you need both the knowledge and the material. So here it says Brahman is both the knowledge and the material for creation. He created the world out of himself, because it is a way of knowing himself, his own potentialities. It's like an dancer dancing. Dancer using his body, her body and her skill. Skill is knowledge. Body is the material. She dances and creates a world of exquisite beauty. And you and I with wide-eyed wonder, look at the dancer, what is she doing? And after 2 hours of watching the dance, you completely forget the world. Either you are sleeping or you are just enjoying the beauty of the dance. So just as the dancer is both the material and the efficient cause. And then when the dancer dances, nothing happens to her. At the end of the dance she is as she was before. Maybe she is a little exhausted, that's all. That's why it said God takes rest. After the creation he sleeps for some time. Vishnu sleeps for some time. So this way you have understood the creation. So whatever we see, these 5 elements, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi and their properties, they all are nothing but Brahman's epiphanies, manifestation. Therefore you can worship all these. And this Brahman is what? Your own essential consciousness. So your essential consciousness which you are has become, it's very interesting to dwell on this understanding for some time. So now these 5 elements have come, and it is these 5 elements which become cause for the Sthula Sharira, gross body, the Sushma Sharira, the subtle body, and the causal body, Karana Sharira. That's how you account for it. How did that happen? All these things now we are going to see. So I have given you a lot of ideas which you will just read now. Brahmashraya Sattvarajas-tamo gunatmiga Sattvarajas-tamo gunatmiga Maya Asti. It's a statement. So Maya is this creative thought, which has got three powers, aspects: the knowing power, the doing power, and the inertia power. To do anything, you need these three energies. If you are all the time active, then you cannot create anything. You need some rest. So sattva, rajas and tamas. Brahmashraya sattva rajas tamo gunatmega maya asti. This Maya is a very interesting concept in Vedanta. It has several meanings. Maya means a combination of creativity, inactivity and reflectivity, meaning knowledge, activity and inertia. Maya also means that which is not. That's another meaning of Maya. That which is not. Now, if you from this spiritual standpoint, which you look at this table, you can say the table is not. The table is not. It's only a word. Or a car. Car is not. It is only a word. This is a famous story of Buddha. A king comes to meet Buddha. So king came in a chariot. So Buddha asked him, how did you come? And the king said, I came in a chariot. So he asked, where is the chariot? Can I see the chariot? Because I have never seen a chariot. You have never seen a chariot? Oh, mine is the latest chariot. Please come and see it. So he took Buddha to show him the chariot. So he asked, he pointed out, this is the chariot. So Buddha asked, where is the chariot? I don't see the chariot. Then he went and touched on the horses. This is the chariot. He said, this is not a chariot, it is only horses. Then he went and touched the wheel of the chariot. He said, this is not a chariot, it is only rubber. Then he went and touched the axle of the chariot. He said, this is not a chariot, it is only steel. Finally, the king understood there is no chariot. It is only an assemblage of things, other things. And those themselves can be dissembled. So finally, where is your chariot? There is no chariot. The Maharaj, king, prostrated Buddha and drove away. The teaching is over. Teaching is over. Buddha teaches like that sometimes. The teaching, he understood that every form is essentially formless. It is only a thought. It is only a thought. Similarly, Ananda asked once Buddha, please teach me about bliss, Anandam. Please teach me about bliss. What is bliss? And saying that, so Ananda brought a flower for Buddha and gave it to Buddha and said, please teach me about bliss. Buddha gave this flower back to Ananda and kept quiet. Ananda sat there for 1 hour to listen to the lecture. So after 1 hour, Buddha asked, Ananda got restless. Ananda is his disciple. He said, Maharaj, give me the talk. Why don't you talk? Buddha said, I have already talked. Then giving the flower was a talk. That flower was taken from him. And then it is given back to him. That is your Ananda. What I am going to talk, the real teaching of Ananda is, you are Ananda. I took it from you and then gave it back. But that exchange may be necessary for some people. To know what they are seeking themselves. They are not seeking something else. So Brahmashraya Satturajastamo Gunatmiga Maya Asti, and that Maya plus Brahman is called Ishvara. Then what happened from that? Tataha Akasha Sambodha. And from this Brahmasraya Maya, Brahma with this creative impulse modifies and becomes Tadaha. From that Brahmasraya Maya, Akasha Sambodha, space was born. Akasha Sambodha. The first manifestation was space with a property of sound. That's why we say by chanting Om, you can land in Brahman. Just keep chanting Om, Om, Om. You can land in Brahman. So Akasha Sambodha. Sambodha means was born or manifested. So Akasha is nothing but a expression, epiphany of Brahman. So therefore when you see the space, you have to understand it is nothing but Brahman. It's a mask for Brahman. Because you always use mask to emphasize certain expressions. If you are an angry character, use a mask accordingly. Red and canine teeth and all those masks. If you are a pious character, you use such mask, green and white mask. You cannot use a white mask and be very angry. It is incongruous. So, from Akasha, Akashad Vayu. The next manifestation is Vayu, air. And air exhibits two properties, two qualities, sound and touch. Vayoho Tejaha. From air comes Tejas. Tejas means fire, expressing three properties, sound, touch and foam. And Tejasaha Abaha. From fire comes Abha, water, expressing four properties. What are the fourth property? Abha, taste. And from Abha comes Oshadi, Vanaspa. It is not said there, but I am adding that. Oshadi, Vanaspa, herbs and plants. From that food, the human physical body. That's how the evolution comes. Now, how this further split into many things, your subtle body, gross body, etc. will be seen. So we have identified 5 basic elements. Like they say, the world is made up of strings, vibrating strings. So these 5 basic elements, and from that the world will see that. So we have been seeing the process of emanation or creation. So this creation is not ex nihilo, meaning it is not from nothing that the creation has happened. Creation is a modification or manifestation of Brahman. It is not even an evolution. Evolution means you give up the old form and assume a new form. It is not evolution. For example, the monkey has evolved into human beings. Human beings cannot go back to the monkey state. It's a one-way traffic. It's not, we may be trying in many ways to go back to, but it's not possible. You can only go forward. So the creation is neither creation nor evolution. This is only emanation. That's why you are Brahman. Even now you are Brahman. But you don't know it. You pretend that you are not Brahman. You act as though you are not Brahman. You are actually Brahman. If you have evolved from that to some other state, then you cannot go back. So evolution is like an arrow. It does no going back. But now Einstein says things can go back. But that's a different story. So Ishvara, Akasha, air, fire, water, earth. These are the 5 elements with which the whole universe is created. So let us read this once more. Tataha akasha sambodha akashad vayuhu vayo stejaha. Teja means fire. Tejasa apaha. Apa means water. Adbhyah pruthivi. From the water, Adbhyah, Pruthivi, the earth was manifested. So the earth that you see here is your own consciousness manifesting. And the subjectivist, they have an explanation for it. They say what you see out there is your own projection, your own thought projection. So the whole world is projected by your thought. We don't go to that much subjectivity. That's pure idealism. But Vedanta does not support that view. They say there is a world which is manifested and emanated, which you are seeing, which I see, you see, everybody sees. So there is a relative objectivity to the world that you are seeing, not absolute subjectivity. There is a world for you to see. But the subjectivists, they explain in this way, the world is your projection and projected by your thoughts. Thoughts are nothing but modes in consciousness, waves in consciousness. So waves in consciousness project thought, thought project the world. Therefore you can withdraw the world into thought, thoughts into pure consciousness. That also is possible. They say just as you project a dream world, you project this waking world. And now neurophysicists say the entire world is in your brain. Even these gods are in your brain. If I tickle somewhere in your brain, you see Shiva. I have to only use a fork. Shiva is there. Vishnu is there. There are books. This book called Phantoms in the Brain by M.S. Ramachandran, famous neurophysicist. He says he has identified areas in the brain where tickling where you can see Shiva, Christ. Christ lying on the cross can be bleeding and crying can be seen and experienced if I tickle you in the brain. It's all stored in the brain. Shiva dancing can be experienced by just a tickle in the brain. You have to wire the brain a little bit and then you can see that. And it is called, there is a lump of neurons in the brain which control laughter. And by accident you touch that, then you cannot stop laughing. And that can happen by many ways. One example he gives is a young man, 25-year-old doctor. He's a doctor. He's a well-educated person, very serious person. He never laughed in his life because a doctor is difficult to laugh, seeing the miseries and all that. So his mother died. When his mother died, he was grief-stricken because he was the only son of the mother, and the mother was a very dominating mother. Sit down, he has to sit down. Cut up, he has to cut up. Run, he has to run. Study, he has to study. So the mother dominated all his life. She was on one side a terror, on the side the provider, and she was many things for this boy. It was her insistence that he became a doctor, otherwise she will not. So much control. He was in awe of this mother. And she was everything, God and Goddess in his life. Then the mother dies. He couldn't believe that this lady can die. This lady can lie down like this, helplessly. And then the funeral ceremony, the lady was taken to the burial ground, her casket containing the dead body. And as the casket was being lowered, he just started giggling. He just couldn't control his giggle. Because such a powerful lady lying like this. He tried to suppress his giggle. He looked there, and still he couldn't control. And when it became a big roaring laughter, he thought, I should move from this place. So he moved out, and he laughed, and he couldn't control. He laughed and fell dead. Something got choked in him. So unconsciously or unintentionally, if you touch that cluster of neurons, you had it. You will have your burial, you will move to the burial ground all the way laughing. So laughter can be very dangerous. Don't touch that nerve. And it happens sometime in our life. Once we touch that center, you are finished. You are condemned to laugh, and then finally die. So he gives all these ideas. All these ideas in this. So periodically that cluster get tickled in brain, and you keep on laughing. So he gives one lady laughs and dies in that. Don't laughing. You don't know the cause of death. Maybe he gets choked, something is choked in his system, and the brain stops functioning. All the energy is used up in laughing, and brain forget to give all the orders and commands. It's a very complicated system. So either the whole universe can be experienced by tickling the brain. That's one philosophy, but I think it's a little trivial. That kind of explaining things, it looks a little silly and trivial, but he can demonstrate it. You want to see Shiva? One tickle. You want to see Christ? You want to see Indra? You want to see all the 14 logas? There is arrangement for that also in the brain by tickling the brain. You want to see something, what has happened in the past? Everything is there. So but you must want it. If you want it, it is there. There is a demand, there is a supply by tickling the brain. So that is one way of explaining. Vedantins don't believe in it. Vedantins say everything is not in the brain. The brain can perceive things which has got an objective reality. That objective reality can be experienced, recognized and understood by the brain. Brain has the ability. For example, when I see a tree, I am seeing a tree which is out there, which is a Bhuta Vastu, which is a given object. It is not that my brain creates that object there. But in my dream, my brain creates. When I see an elephant in my dream, it is not a given elephant which I am seeing, an elephant outside, it is my creation. But the elephant I see outside in time space is not my creation. It is, we call Ishvara Srishti, God's creation. It is not my creation. But my dream objects are purely my creation. That is why the dream object has only a private reality, subjective private reality. Whereas the waking objects have got an objective public reality. How do we know that? That tree can be seen by me and by you also, and by somebody else also. Even your mortal enemy and you look at the tree is the same. Both of us can see the same tree. So Vedanta has that kind of objectivity. They say the world is a different order of emanation. Whereas your experience of the world is determined by the quality of your mind. So when I see a sunrise, how I experience it, I can become very gloomy when I see the sunrise. Because today I have to appear for the exam. I never thought the sun will ever come. So that I thought I don't have to go. Now today, this sunrise, I have to go and appear. It's a gloomy day for me, if only the sun never rose. Whereas the sun rises and you are going to receive your award on that day, that's a wonderful thing for you. So the same experience can be interpreted differently depending upon the quality of your mind. So what you experience inside is your private experience. But what you see outside is a public object that you are seeing. That's the difference between the neurophysicists who say everything is in the brain, subjectivists say everything is your projection, and the Vedantins. Vedantins are more realistic. They don't say the world is just your projection. But all these, the world and the subject which see the world, all are emanations of the same consciousness. So consciousness emanates in one stream, the objective world, and the other is the subject. Now, having enumerated the 5 elements which manifest from this pure consciousness, then they say how these 5 elements have become many objects, many things. That's what we are saying. Edesham panchatattvanam madhye akashasya satvikamshad shrotrendriyam sambodham. So the question is, what is the material used for manufacturing the shrotra? Shrotra means the ears, the faculty of hearing. Not the instrument of hearing, but the faculty of hearing. A particular faculty. What is it made up of? So according to Shankaracharya, that faculty of hearing is made up of the sattva amsha of akasha. Now, we have seen that Maya has trigunatmika. Maya is made up of 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattva, rajas and tamas. You know this. So the sattva, rajas and tamas it flows into the akasha. So akasha also is made up of sattva, rajas and tamas. Then it flows into air, that also is made up of sattva, rajas and tamas. So if I can use the short form SRT, not SRF, SRT, sattva, rajas and tamas. So akasha is nothing but a modification of the sattva, rajas and tamas, exhibiting a new property called sound. The sound was hidden in the sattva, rajas, tamas in the initial stages. Then when it becomes active, the sound manifests. Then again sattva, rajas and tamas further modifies, exhibiting one more quality called touch or pressure. Then exhibit another quality called form or color. Then water, exhibiting one more quality called taste. Then earth, fragrance or smell. So your material world is an ensemble of all these qualities. You either see touch, you hear sound, feel the touch, see the color, taste or smell. You don't see anything else. For example, when you see a rose, first you see it, then you smell it, then you feel it, then you sometimes taste it also. Then you said this is a rose. Certain things you can only taste. A chemist smells. Certain things he tastes also. Smell, taste, etc. So this is the ensemble constituting the world. But these are the basic elements which manifest as this. So therefore, in every element there is sattva, rajas and tamas. They are not separate, they exist in that, up to here. And now you have this 5 organs of perception. What are the 5 organs of perception? Shrotram, yes, ear. Ear, that's a organ of perception. Then skin, another organ of perception. Then eyes, then tongue, and then nose. How are they made? Because they are meant for experiencing this. The ear experiences sound, skin experiences touch, eyes experience color, tongue experience taste, nose experience. So there should be some connection between them. So therefore they say the ear is made up of the sattva aspect of Akasha. Only the sattva. Because sattva alone can know. Sattva has got the knowing principle. So the ear is made up of the sattva aspect of Akasha, so that it can contact sound. That's how it is connected. The Rishi figured it out all on his brain, thinking, like Einstein figured out everything in thinking. He didn't do any laboratory or anything. So Rishi also does that. So ear is made up of the sattva of Akasha, so that it can contact sound, which is a property of Akasha. That's how it's able to. So too, skin is made up of the sattva aspect of air, skin, so that it can contact the property of air called touch. Skin alone can experience touch. So too, eyes are made up of the sattva aspect of fire, sattva aspect of fire, so that it can contact color. Tongue is made up of the sattva aspect of water, so that it can contact taste. God is that way very parsimonious in his creation, very economical and parsimonious. With the same thing he makes several things. And tongue is made up of water, so that it can taste. Nose is made up of the sattva aspect of. Why sattva aspect? Because sattva is the quality of knowing. It is water, and it can taste, and nose made up of the sattva aspect of earth, so that it can contact smell. Now, that's what is said here. Edesham panchatattvanam madhye agashasya satvigamshad shrotrendriyam sambodham. Of these means these five elements. Of these five elements, panchatattvanam, pancha means five, tattva means elements. Madhye, among them, agashasya satvigamsha, from the sattva aspect of akasha, shrotrendriyam sambodham, the ear is constructed. Ear is fashioned or constructed by the sattva, so that it can know the world of sound. So if you develop through meditation that power, you can come to know more sounds. For example, a good listener of classical music, over a long period of training, he has sensitivity to subtle sounds that the instruments make. You and I, if you listen to these classical music, we understand nothing, because there is no training. So that is to be trained. Now, continuing. Vayoho satvigamshade togindriyam sambodham. So the sattva, vayu, air, togindriyam, the skin is made, constructed, so that it can contact, get in touch with touch, which is one property of the external world. Vayoho satvigamshas, from the sattva aspect, amsha means aspect, of vayu togindriyam sambodham, this indriya was made. And then agnehe satvigamshad chakshurindriyam sambodham. Agnehe satvigamshad, from the sattva aspect of air. What is made? The organ of eyes made, so that you can see form and color. Now, Jalasya satvikamshad rasanendriyam sambodham. Is it not a good story? Very interesting story, which leads one to the other. And the mind needs such stories. Jalasya satvikamshad, from the sattva aspect of water, what is made? Rasanendriyam, the sense organ of rasana, taste is made, so that you can conduct taste. So mean they are brothers and sisters, they are from the same family. That's why they understand each other, otherwise they won't. So ear cannot feel the touch, it can only feel the sound. That aspect of the ear which you feel the touch is the skin only. So eyes cannot hear the sound. See, I cannot, my ears are not functioning, therefore let me use the eyes hearing music and pass. There is no connection. It is like somebody saying when his ears are cut off, these earlobes are cut off, he was crying, and somebody asked, why are you crying? Now I cannot read. My ears are cut off, I cannot read. So he was wondering, what is the connection between the ear being cut off and your reading? Because I cannot use my glasses, he says. That is the connection. So there is some connection with everything. So Jalasya satvikamshad chakshurindriyam sambodham, Jalasya sati rasanendriyam sambodham, and then finally prithivyaha satvikamshad granendriyam sambodham. So sattva of earth become the nose, that indriya, that particular faculty. Nose does not mean just the nose and the nose bridge and all, that's a faculty of smelling. Nose, and so that you can get the contact with the fragrance, smell, etc. So we have analyzed these emanations of Brahman as these 5 elements and the subsidiary emanations of Brahman. What are they? Eyes, ears, nose, etc. is further emanation of Brahman, God. Now where is Brahman now? Brahman has become your eyes, ears, nose, etc. So that means poor Brahman, what about the original Brahman? He has not changed at all. And hence in Purana, the Upanishad says, Purnamada, that is Purnam, complete. Purnamidam, this also is complete. Purnat Purnamudachyade, this world comes from there. And even when the world comes from there, that remains intact. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyade. Modern mathematics says from infinite, you can take infinite, still infinite remains infinite. The Brahman can create infinite universes, still it remains inexhaustible. And hence when you know you are Brahman, you also can become like that. Infinite activity, creativity, recreativity, play, but still you are inexhaustible. Like a child can play throughout the day and still it is active. You and I are so serious, all the time tired and exhausted. And because of our seriousness, make life a play, then there is no tiredness at all. So noise. So Brahman manifests as these, and then his subsidiary manifestation is these Panchendriyas and these world of sensation. And then there is a direct connection between them. Continuing. Edesham Panchatattvanam Samashti Satvikamshad Mano Buddhyahankara Chitta Andhakaranani Sambhudani. Now the thing is, when you get all these sensations, you have to make some sense out of the sensation. Otherwise they are all discrete and distant sensations floating in your brain. Somebody has to process all this information. There should be an instrument. Letters coming from all sides, information coming from all sides. There should be a chair or a table where all this information is processed. Isn't it? Otherwise, you see sound this side, sight somewhere else, smell. Suppose you are seeing a rose. All this information should be processed and a experience is to be generated. Who will do that? And having created that experience, somebody has to say, here is a rose. Isn't it? All your experience is like that. Is information coming into you, is being processed, and the ultimate experience is what? I see a rose, or here in front of me is a rose. Somebody has to say that. Somebody has to take the responsibility. Somewhere the buck should end. So what is that faculty which processes information and then creates knowledge and say, I am experiencing that? For that you need an inner faculty which is called antakarana. Which is called antakarana. Karana means faculty, anta means inner. Inner faculty is necessary. And the inner faculty has got four functions. It's like a mini office, in the small offices, the director, the manager, the servant and the messenger, everybody will be one person. One person does many functions. Similarly here, an antakarana which coordinates and processes all this information. This antakarana has got 5 functions. One is mind, intellect, as second function, memory. Any office should have a memory shelf where files are kept, isn't it? Memory, and finally ahangara, ego. So when the information constantly pour into you, finally first it is received by the mind, emotion. It's an emotional response initially. You see, when I walk over a walk and I see a dog and the sensation comes to me, the dog's the color, black color, and the fangs and the lolling tongue and the rustle in the grass, the dry grass, the dog is rolling, all the information come. My first reaction is a mental reaction. My blood curdles up. My adrenaline is pumped into the bloodstream. And I almost collapse when the dog. And suddenly intellect comes to play. It's a dog, you must do something. If you have a umbrella, open it and fend yourself from the dog, or call out, somebody may come. Intellect comes. And all this intellect mind activity is due to the memory. Because I have read in the newspaper 45 people were bitten by dogs in Columbus. So when I went to Columbus, I was afraid of walking because this information in the newspaper. So memory, what I read, what I heard. And then all this, using all these faculties, you determine what the object is and what should be your response. So when you determine what the object is, the ego comes into play, because the file is put in front of the ego. And the ego says, I see, I hear, I touch, I smell. All these expressions are made by the ego. This is the executive ego. And then the response also is presented. What is the response? Run away, if possible. So all these are done by the antakarana. So this antakarana. And hence antakarana must have representatives from all these sattva, all the akasha, vayu, because all these functions are coordinated. When now America is sending a representative to Iraq, they make sure that man speaks Arabic. If he doesn't speak Arabic, only English, he will find it difficult. And if he is sending somebody to Iran, they must make sure he speaks and understands Persian. Send somebody to Afghanistan, they must make sure he reads and understands Pashto. Otherwise they don't understand. They will just go and look around and come back, or they will be hit. So therefore, this office, the coordinating office, must have people speaking all these 5 languages. Therefore it says, Antakarana is made up of the sattvic aspect of all these 5 elements, whereas ear, skin, nose is only one sattvic aspect of one element each. Antakarana has got sattvic aspect of all elements. So it can deal with all the sense organs, all the information that is constantly pouring in. That's what he said here. Edesham panchatattvanam madhye. Edesham panchatattvanam samashti sattvikamshat. By the samashti means total, all the sattvikamshas from all the sattvikamsha from all the 5 elements make up the antakarana, mind, intellect. So technically speaking, your antakarana is very sattvic. It's a sattvic instrument. There is no rajas or tamas in the antakarana. But when the antakarana comes under the influence of prana and organs of action, some rajas, it comes under the control of rajas. If it comes under the control of the body, it comes under the control of tamas. That's all what is happening. Antakarana is not taking the leadership properly. Otherwise, antakarana is very efficient staff. Staff is very efficient, but comes under wrong influence. So, edesham panchatattvanam samashti sattvikamshat. The sattvikamsha, collective sattvikamshas, drawn from all the 5 elements, constitute the antakarana. Antakarana, which has got 4 functions: mind, intellect, ego, ahankara, and memory, chitta. In Sanskrit, for mind we will say manaha, intellect buddhihi, memory chittam, ego ahankara. These 4 words are used. So, edesham panchatattvanam samashti sattvaamshat mano buddhi ahankara chitta antakaranani sambodhani. Antakarana is constituted inner equipment. And the inner equipments means what? Mana, buddhi, mind, intellect, ahankara. So in the Western tradition, mind means all this. But in the Indian tradition, mana means only one aspect of the one function of the antakarana. The word used is antakarana, inner facility. And the sense organs outside is called bahya karana, outer facility. Now here comes a definition. What do you mean by mind in your concept or in your system? Continuing. Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. In the Western tradition, you have volition, affection, and cognition, isn't it? There is a cognitive part of your mind, there is an affective part of the mind determining your emotions, there is a volitional part of the mind which willing and all that. So in the Indian concept, Vedantic tradition, there is 4 parts, 4 functions of the mind. So they say the volitional part is controlled by your will, affection part is controlled by emotions, mind, and the cognitive part your intellect. But in Vedanta, one more is there, the ego. The ego. Ego is the one who controls all this, or ego uses all these faculties. Now, the definition of mind, Sankalpa Vikalpatmagam Manaha. Mind is Atmagam, of the nature of Sankalpa, imagination, projection. Vikalpa, doubting. So, doubting, projection and vacillation, these are all the property of mind. You see, in the morning when you get up at 6 o'clock, the vacillation starts. Should I go to the class or should I not? Yesterday I sat there for 9 hours and I broke my back. So therefore today I am not going. Then you think, no. Anyway I broke my back. Now let me go. Nothing worse can happen. So therefore, so this way the vacillations come. I am sure all of you had that vacillation. Will I reach there on time? It's too late. Vacillation. And finally, you decided, let me go. But that before that decision, this vacillation is there. Then projections. Maybe I may not reach there on time. I may not reach there on projection. Or imagination. So that is the nature of, and some of our creatures of that faculty. So we always project, imagine, worry, and get agitated, imaginary, living in a imaginary world. And that can lead to manic depression or bipolar experiences or schizophrenia, all that's coming from there. It's a property of the mind. You know, like this man in that beautiful mind, John Nash, very intelligent person on one side, his left brain is very different. Other side, no control. The right brain is in shambles. So he has no control. He doesn't have a reality check. He pulled off that reality check from the emotional aspect. So his mind works under very violent swings. So I would like to share one thing which I read from John Nash. He was a very good student in Princeton University in mathematics. The one who discovered this theory of the games theory, which is widely used now. But at 21 his creativity ended. 21 he made this discovery or whatever you say, the theory of games. And there was no more creativity. He became schizophrenic. And he started seeing non-existent things. Somebody ordering him to do something. So every day he will go and post a letter. Nobody asked him, but he thinks. He thinks somebody is writing to him and he is writing replies to that person. So at 21, Chicago University appointed him, appointed him as a professor of mathematics. It's a very prestigious appointment. Without even asking him, he did not even apply for it. And it's a very prestigious thing to get a posting at the age of 21. Then he writes a letter to the university dean that I am not going to come because I am going to become the emperor of Antarctica, he says. Emperor of Antarctica. What to do with such thing? You cannot do anything. And then one day he was listening a lecture. By the time he is well advanced into this schizophrenic behavior, he was listening a lecture, a very eminent mathematician. And suddenly he got up. Then he asked, did you see this month's Span magazine? There is no connection, eh? Life magazine, Span, Life magazine, or Span or Life, yes. Then the professor thought, what is the connection between this magazine and this lecture? He said, no. You didn't see that? The cover page of the magazine has my picture, his picture. So then somebody said, no, I saw that magazine. It's not your picture. It is Pope John Paul II's picture. Pope John 23rd, that's it. Pope John 23rd, not second, Pope John 23rd picture. He said, that is what I say, it's my picture. How is that? My name is John, real name. His name is assumed name. And 23 is the primary number I like. You see the connections he make? Therefore, that picture ought to be my picture. Saying that he sat down. All these are because of the emotional. You live in that emotions overpower. You pull out that reality check, and then the flooding of emotions. So therefore, mind is sankalpa vikalpatmakam mana. And once you submit to that, nothing could be done. And this fellow is given all kind of medicines and all that. He made a mess of his life. So sankalpa means imagination, vikalpa means doubt. And you constantly doubt. And the general form of that, did I lock my door? That's generally. You drive a couple of kilometers, then you start doubting, did I lock my door or did I not? And then what you do, you cannot drive further. You have to come back. Come back, you pull the lock, oh, I locked my door, and then you go back. This way, people get swung between. That's the mana. And the deity, presiding deity, Adhisthana Devata of mind is the moon, it will be said. And depending upon the growth, Vruddhikshaya, the movement of the growth of the moon, the decline, the waxing and the waning of the moon, your mind also responds to that. So full moon day, such people will be very active. They don't sleep, they are active, they are writing and all that. New moon day, what happened to you? I don't feel good, I feel depressed, because the moon has disappeared. So according to the waxing and the waning of the moon, I know in our ashram, on the full moon day, there are a couple of mad people. They are otherwise good people. On the full moon day, they become a little mad. They take sticks and run around and all that. And we just let them, because we know when the moon changes, they also will change. They are very intelligent people, very good people. And the new moon day, you must see them. You don't see them outside. They are all sleepy or sitting in one corner or under a tree and then supposedly meditating. But actually, they are depressed. So these violent swings. And hence we have a ritual for that. Rituals means you must change your eating habits. On new moon day, eat very little. If you eat too much, then you will feel more depressed. So new moon day, don't eat. Full moon day, you can eat little more, because you are using up more energy. So full moon day, eat as much as you want. New moon day, eat as little as you can. And then organize your food according to the waxing and the waning of the moon. So on the full moon day, you can eat 5 or 10 chapatis, 15 chapatis if you want. Chapati means bread. New moon day, eat only one, or live on just salad and all that. So that you can control the mind accordingly. So that ritual, that discipline is called Chandrayana Vrata. A Vrata, a discipline in response to the movement of the waxing and the waning of the moon. So Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha, continuing. Now Buddhi definition. Nischayatmika Buddhihi. So what is the function of Buddhi? Buddhi's function is to deliberate and determine. Calm deliberation. Nischaya means determination. It is the Buddhi which determines this is this. This is what I should do. There's a faculty of the mind which is called buddhi, intellect, intellection. Mind cannot determine, mind can all the time vacillate. Buddhi determines. So, nischayatmika buddhi. Nischayatmika buddhi. And the presiding deity of buddhi is Brahma, the creator. Buddhi is the one who takes decisions. So, nischayatmika buddhi. So, Brahma, we have seen that four-faced Brahman, the creator, he is the presiding deity of buddhi. Because Brahman is a creator. Creator has to take decision. If you keep on vacillating, nothing will happen. Should I do it? Should I do it today? Should I do it tomorrow? Should I ever do it? Why not somebody else do it? This way you keep on postponing. Okay. Anybody can do it, therefore nobody does it, therefore shouldn't I do it? Now this way you can keep on vacillating, and finally the time is over. Therefore let me not do it. What is the point in doing it? This way the mind keep on, but the buddhi interferes. No, do it. So buddhi is such, and very rarely buddhi assert. Normally buddhi gives the mind a big role. Okay, you, buddhi does it. But when the buddhi asserts, it has to be nischayatmika buddhi. And buddhi also is another function of buddhi is cognition, determination, etc. Nischayatmika. It is this buddhi we are utilizing. This buddhi is our friend. It is this faculty we will use in our spiritual progress and redemption. That buddhi is being appealed now. That part of your antakarana is being utilized. Because he is supposedly the driver. He sits on the driver's seat. Most of the time the problem with the driver is somebody sitting in back also. He says, stop there, move, turn here, there is a pit or there is a stone. This way buddhi is constantly distracted, and then he meets with an accident. Then the one who says, didn't I tell you that? What did you say? You were distracting me constantly. So the mind distracts the buddhi. That. So that buddhi is not able to concentrate. Nischayatmika buddhi. So once you give the wheels to the buddhi, let him drive it. You remain in, you don't have to bring all your agitation to the buddhi, just remain. Which we don't do. We get so excited. So continuing, ahankarta ahankaraha. Now what is ahankara? Ahankara in you, ego, is the faculty which thinks that he is the doer, the doership in you. The doership. It's a faculty of doership. It is that faculty which says my thought, my feelings, my perceptions, all these expressions. Don't you do that expression? All this comes from that faculty. My name, my fame, my things, all that my, I, all are manufactured there. Ahankarta means aham karomi, I am the doer, iti bhavam. And it is that ahankara which stops you from going up. That ahankara stops you from going up. Ahankara has got an initial purpose. The initial purpose of ahankara is to develop your body, mind, etc. But when ahankara's job is over, it doesn't quit. It continues to be there. Then ahankara won't allow you to. It's like parents. Parents give birth to children, nourish them. So then thereafter, when the children want to go and be their own, they won't allow. Especially in India, they won't allow. Even if you are a 50-year-old man with a grey beard, the mother still want to keep him in the lap and then feed him and all that. It's very embarrassing in the Indian situation. Here at least you say, okay, get lost and manage yourself. But there we don't do that. A 50-year-old man with the grandchildren, children, if he loses the job, he can go to his mother will cook and feed him. He won't even ask, Mom, can I come? No, he just goes there. In India I am talking. Here, you have to first put a call and she is not there, then you have to wait, then you have to get her permission. Can I come? Then she said, no, I have this program, that program. So finally, by the time she permits you to come, you are almost dead. In India, no, you don't have to put a call at all. You can just drive in. Understand? And start eating the food that she has cooked. She has not eaten, but she wouldn't bother. She say, but at least you have come. Then he said, not only me, my wife is there. No problem. No, not only my wife, my children are there. No problem. My grandchildren also are there. Mother said, the more the merrier. Let everybody, let us share everything equally. What a wonderful concept. So, but it's a problematic also. You don't allow the children to grow. Ahankara is like that. It nourishes you to a certain level of maturity, then it won't leave you. It keeps you. Everything is mine. So you will consider children, grandchildren, everything is your children. You don't let them grow. Good or bad, you have to decide. So, ahankarta ahankaraha is the ego. Now, what is chittam? Chintana kartra chittam. Chittam is chintana kartra. Chintana means worrying about your future. There is that faculty in us, thinking. Thinking normally is worrying. We are not thinking properly. You see, if you think properly, you find a solution. Either you say it can be done, it can't be done. That's it. So, in the name of thinking, what we do is worry. And the worrying is caused by memory. You see, when you lose a job, you worry because you have the memory of job losing earlier. What will I do? Where is my bread? What will I do? What will I tell my children? So, all the time you are worrying because of the past experiences. Memory. So, chitta means the storehouse of memory as well as the function of worrying. And we all are constantly worrying. 50 years we have been, nothing has happened so far, but worry continues. When we were in our 20s, we are worrying, what will I do in my 30s? 30s you worry, what will I do in my 40s? What is the worry in my 50s? And none of those worries were reasonable. So all they had no foundation. They are just a worry because of the memories. So chitta is the storehouse of memory as well as the faculty of thinking and worrying about the future, about the past. That is another way of thinking. You go back into the past, not only this past, the other past also. You go down the memory lane and then worry about that. Or you move into the future, worry about that. So that is the job of chitta, constantly nagging you. So chintana kartara chittam, that's the chitta. So you have these four faculties: mind, intellect, memory, and ego. These are the four inner faculties. And this whole faculty is made up of the collective sattva drawn from each element, so that he understands what is happening in the world. He is able to function through the sense organs and interact with the world of sensations. So now you can see the connection between all these. Now the Acharya says, Manasaha Devata Chandrama. So the deity, presiding deity of mind is the moon. So there is a connection between moon and the mind. So don't ignore the moon. Worship the moon. See your connection with the moon. Manasaha Devata Chandrama Buddhehe Brahma. And the presiding deity of Buddhi is Brahma. Brahma is the creator. Brahma, four-faced Brahman. And there is some connection between creativity and Buddhi. Ahangarasya Rudraha. And the deity of Ahangara is Rudra. Rudra is the terrible aspect of Shiva. Rudra. Rudra presides over your ego. And Rudra is the destroyer. Your ego can destroy you. Your ego can destroy you. Pride goeth before a fall. Before the fall, not a fall. Before the fall. Pride goeth before the fall. Not the season. No, I am not talking about the season. I am talking about the real fall. So, Ahangarasya Rudraha. Chittasya Vasudeva. And the deity of Chitta, memory, is Vasudeva, time, the Lord of time. Vasu means time. Vasudeva means the Lord of time. Vasudeva is named for Krishna also. Here Vasudeva means the Lord of time, is the presiding, because memory means time. Memory, all that, stored in time. So these are the 5 Antakaranas. Now we will come to the instrument of action. Where do they come from? What are their presiding deities, etc. Their presiding deities are determined, but they are, where do the instruments of action come? We will see tomorrow.